Hey, what's happening? This is Donald Tardy with Obituary, and I'm blowing it up on Capital Chaos TV. Turn it up. I don't know. I got into music simply because I think my dad was a big music fan, and even though that was a long time ago, you know, it was the 70s, 60s, 70s that my dad probably started influencing my brother, my oldest brother, and then myself and John, my other brother. And just music's always been a part of my life. Drums have been a big part of my life from at a very young age. I was very interested in playing drums, and it's always been music for me. Not necessarily jazz. I don't think really jazz is a part of my vocabulary as a drummer. You know, it all stems from rock. You know, it all came from John Bonham and Led Zeppelin type music, and then of course Southern rock, because I lived in Florida at a young age with an oldest brother that had a great record collection that he would go to work and I would sneak in and listen to his albums, and it was Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, Outlaws, Blackfoot. You know, so
that's metal to some degree, right?
Absolutely, it was metal. It was turning from Southern rock to metal very quickly in front of all of us. Tour's awesome. My Dust Bolt friends missed the first bit of the tour, but it's great to have them here with us, and couldn't ask for nicer guys. And then along with the package, you know, we also met the Power Trip dudes, super cool guys, and of course Exodus could not be nicer people on the planet. They are super cool dudes. So the entire package is just really dream come true when it comes to just how smooth everything is and how good everyone gets along. Well, it's funny because it's not, even though we've been bands, Exodus and Obituary have been bands for a long time, we never got the opportunity to brother down and tour together. And even though you would play festivals and shows the same weekend together over years and years, we still never had the chance to, because they would play on a Friday night and we would be flying in on Saturday at the festivals in Europe and things like that. So we never really got to truly hang out and become really good friends until the last European run we did the Battle of the Bays in Europe, and that's when we became really good friends. And it was a no-brainer that we said, you know what, we got to bring Battle of the Bays to America, and I did everything I possibly could to make it happen as quickly as we could. I'm not surprised about the success of the album. I'm very happy about it because we knew that when writing it, we knew we had some good songs and riffs, and I'm just glad that it all came together the way it did, because we've done the last 4 albums in the studio on our own, and this time we did the same thing. We tracked it ourselves, but we handed it off to Joe Sencata, our live sound guy, who's also up in New York at Full Force Studios. So we handed it off to him and let him do his magic, and I think he did a fabulous job with the production of it. And you know, the album came together. We couldn't be any more happy about the album and excited about the production and the songwriting, and we're so glad that the fans are digging it. I never have enough time to dial in the drums. I think every drummer says that, you know. And in fact, on this album, we actually took our time, man. We really took time to write a song. The minute we had some cool ideas, Trevor and I are always in the studio, so when there's a cool idea, we quickly turn the computer on, somewhat record it, a rough take of it. That way you can put it away, tuck it away in your back pocket. You listen to it a couple days later or a couple weeks later, and it immediately gives you other ideas. It makes you realize what's good about the riff and what you could do better with it. And we've always known that over 30 years together, but this time we really took the time to write the songs and record them and sit on them and listen to them, like burn a copy of it, ride around in town in your car listening to it, because when I do that, when I get out of the studio and I listen to a song, I immediately realize what I like about it and what I could do better. And I thought I did it for this album, but now we're doing, like, on this tour, we're doing 6 songs off the new album, and now that I've played them 20 times in a row, I am doing fills and accents and stuff now that I wish, as always, I really wish they were on the album, but drummers are never satisfied. You know, we're our worst critics, and I don't know, if you're satisfied, it means you're not trying hard enough, and I think that's kind of what my brain. I got a busy brain, and I never stop thinking about it. You know. Yeah, I mean, it's a subject that none of the band members really like talking about, because, you know, we signed to Roadrunner a long time ago at a very early age, and they know that we signed the worst contracts on the planet, so we have no rights to any of those albums. We don't have any say-so. I don't even think they're being printed anymore. Like a young metalhead, I don't think can even find it in the store, a real copy of it. And we went to Roadrunner and said, can't we just simply negotiate and figure out, can I get my albums back to the band? And they wanted no part of even the discussion. So sadly, Obituary has no power of what happens with those early albums. And, you know, it's history. You know, it's history, and at least the music is there for the fans to find. You know, it is what happened early on in the music industry, and we were very young, just like a lot of bands. There's many. We're not the only ones on Roadrunner that say the same exact thing. It's sad that, you know, we got talked into signing horrible deals and we signed our lives away. But when you're a 16-year-old kid and you're looking at a multi-contract album contract, you're just like, that's amazing. I'm gonna be in a band. But little did we know, 30 years later, we still can't get the rights back to it, you know. Roadrunner owns it forever. I don't know, you know. A lot of people have asked over the years, you know, how is it being in a band, and what did I think early on what was going to happen? And I never really thought too much, man. We knew we wrote some songs that our friends liked in the garage. But I never knew that it would go further than the first album. I was just excited to have an album, literally holding the vinyl going, oh my God, we're a band. I never would have imagined it was 10 albums 30 years later, and we're still doing it, and we're still doing it pretty good, and it seems like it's more popular now than it's been in a decade. So it's good to see young fans coming out to the shows, and it's always good to see our original, you know, fans still worshiping what we do. My family's always had animals. You know, I know there was always German shepherds and cats and birds and snakes and stuff. So it wasn't just my cat or my dog. I was the youngest of 4. So, you know, in the 70s, there was always cats and dogs running around the house. So can't really remember what the first pet was because I was so young. I was probably, you know, super small, running around with kittens and dogs running around when I was super young. And it's just now, you know, now it turns into what I like to do, which is, you know, help homeless cats in my area where I live. Yeah, you know, there's always, once you dive deep enough into it, there's always people reaching out for help. And that means literally a friend of a friend that says, you know, my mom's friend, she means well, but she's not doing a good job and with their sick animals. So, you know, anytime there's that, I don't necessarily go in myself and rescue. I know enough rescue groups, and I have enough, at least, knowledge to help guide people to help their family members or their friends or their neighbors if there's an issue. And I mainly just focus on homeless animals in Tampa area where, you know, where they're homeless, they're going to be on the streets, but at least they're not breeding anymore. And that's what we do, is trap, neuter, vaccinate, return. And that's simply getting them fixed and putting them back where they were so they can live their lives out there, but they don't keep breeding. So we try to control the population problem. No, you know, we don't really coexist with anyone except the people that help us, and that's the certain rescue groups right around the Tampa Bay area that see how passionate I am about it and how deep we dove into it. And so there's always financial help because it's super expensive to try and really go deep the way I want to do and not look past behind certain restaurants and stuff simply because the funding is not there. So we have rescue groups that always help us with the young kittens and at least getting the adults fixed. It's as busy as I want to be. I'm up to my neck in it anyway, so it's a little overwhelming some of the times as well with me and my girlfriend trying to do what we do. But again, we're super passionate about it, and we do everything we possibly can. I don't know, man. You know, like I said earlier, we're really self-content. We're super happy with what we got going on. Our studio is our cave. We love it. And now with Joe doing the producing for it, we're really happy with the way this new album came out. So I can imagine that Joe's going to be a part of the next album as well because the chemistry was awesome. And chemistry means a lot to band members. When you're comfortable and you're in a good mood, you play well. When you're nervous and you're not thinking, you still play on the album, but it doesn't come across what you wish. And that's tough enough as it is. So Joe's our boy. And he vibes with us, and we're all super good friends, and that's an important aspect to a great album. The 30th anniversary is coming up shortly. I wouldn't know the date. I think fans they make it up, but it's amazing. It's been 30 years. You know, we don't think too much about it. We're also the band that is not. We're not an annual band. We do not feel the pressure to put an album out annually. Lord knows we don't really care about that. We're super happy that the fans like this new album. And this is a big planet, so we want to make sure that we're going and letting the fans experience it with us. So we're going to be really busy for the next year and a half. And when you're busy, that also means you're not writing as much riffs and drum beats that you wish. So, you know, we're not putting a timeline on it. This album's solid. It just came out in March. We're really excited about it. And, you know, the good thing is we're super good friends, and we really have a good time nowadays writing music together. So the writing of riffs and ideas and coming up with thoughts, it's always in our mind, and we're always jotting down certain ideas and guitar riffs and drum beats and stuff. So it's in the making, but we are not in a hurry. Metal just means to me that, you know what, there's a lot of music out there, but when you see a metalhead come to a show, as violent as the music is and as brutal as the lyrics are, everyone's a huge family. And I know for a fact from the industry, most people that meet metalheads, they say, you guys are the most kind of the genres. Country music or rap music comes into the venue and they're disrespectful, and or they're just not they're not the same way that metalheads are. And metalheads are, you know, we love our bloody black T-shirts, but we're also very kind people, and that goes for the fans as well, not just the band members. And that's important to me, because there's that cliche of, getting beat up in mosh pits and everything else, but it's a complete opposite. Nowadays, you see a lot more weird shit going on with rap concerts than you would in a metal concert, because someone might fall down, but we know from even back in the day, we help each other up, and we look out for each other, even though it's a little release of energy that we have during the shows. We're all family.